3:30 on the 15th of January. Quick turnaround on the garage tonight. Back over here from a Saturday visit. Today's Monday, obviously, so getting over here after work. So last visit we got this rear wing arch in. Pretty happy with that. Haven't cleaned it up yet, and eventually will, but I don't think I'm going to make that a priority tonight. My priority tonight is going to be to focus on the front end of the wing here. In here, I had mentioned that I think this one repair patch here that I put in might be a little too long, so I may have to deal with that. I'm going to give it a shot to replace this entire piece and fabricate a whole brand new piece instead of trying to reuse the piece that I have right now. One, I got this little notch here that I'd like to cut out and square off a little bit more, and then two, it's just that repair patch is not in the best of shape as far as the fit goes, so I'm going to give it a shot with the shrinker stretcher and the metal brake and all that, and see if I can come up with anything. Let's see what else. Maybe try to get this bracket in completely and get it cleaned up a little bit. Still got some holes and everything left over from the welding that I can fill with some more weld metal, and if I get that done, then I'll probably go over here, maybe take care of this wing section, get that fit in all the way. I don't know if I'll do that or not. And I probably have some work that I can do on this other rear wing portion here to try to get that. There's some welding here that I can do to finish that up. So the rear valance I thought was going to be here tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to be here until Wednesday. So at the earliest, that'll be a weekend project. So that'll be exciting to get new metal, big hunk of new metal. And we'll go from there with that when that arrives. So otherwise, that's my plan ahead, and there you go. All right, so this is the original piece that I showed you guys, I don't know, a video or two ago. I did a really rough template, not that great to tell you the truth, but to give me the metal that I know that I'm going to need, and then I even overcut this. So if you put these next to each other, you can see I've got a lot of extra there. As I've said in the past, I'd rather cut down than to have to add back. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the bottom flange on. So this is completely flat, obviously from the black car. The rear wing area, I took some of the rear wing off. I had to pound a little bit of it flat, but not too much so it's not sprung. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to create the flange at the bottom here. I got a mark here and a mark here. The flange is going to taper up a little bit with my metal brake. So in this particular case, I think I'm better off taking the wide piece of metal and bending that up as opposed to taking the small piece of metal, I think. No, I think I'll try it the other way, actually. So this brake is a little bit different than you might see on other videos. This is a little cheapy thing from Harbor Freight. I don't think I've showed you guys how I use this yet. So I got the pencil mark here. I've got my other pencil mark over there. I'm just going to line those up. Get that in there. You stick this piece of metal on top, and then use just a C-clamp to clamp it down. Like I said, it's not real high quality. Just an easy, simple thing to use, only 18 inches. But then you just lift up like that and it bends it. So that's what we're going to do here, and we'll see. Guessing the angle here because I didn't really put it up, so but it makes a relatively nice even crease there. That's not even anywhere near what I need as far as the angle goes. Much further away than that. Cut this little back off here. obviously I still have the curvature of the metal itself to put in. I'll use the hammer and dolly for that. But I'm going to go put this up against the car right now, make sure I'm good lengthwise, and then I'll put the seam in here, this portion in. I'll put that in next, and then but I got to shrink that, and I'm hoping when I shrink that, that'll help me start to make the curve and the required curvature that I need. Then we'll see how it goes. All right, so now I took that over to the car, and I marked about where the flange now needs to bend over to get the fender. So now I'm going to put this in the brake. This is one of those where you got to remember which way to go, right? So it's going to go up on the car like that. So I want this piece to kind of come up like this. So I'm going to have to bend it like this so that that folds over. The problem with that is I got this thing here, so kind of that's unfortunate. How am I going to do that? I might not be able to do this. Might have to put this one in the vise. All right, so there's that. But now obviously I just have a kind of piece of square metal. So now I'm going to put it on the shrinker and see if I can get it to kind of conform a little bit more to what I want. I'm not too sure if it's going to work because it's a very long piece of metal this way. And I only want to shrink this in, so what I think is going to happen is it'll shrink up and probably come up to about here, and then this will all be flat. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so the black one here is the shrinker. The yellow one, which is not on camera right now, is the stretcher. I gotta look at the jaws every time. You can see them kind of go like this. So I'm gonna stick this in there and start shrinking it up, and I expect it to start to go like this. I'll use the one that I have over here that I made already as kind of my guide for that, and we'll see how it goes. See that starting to curve it a little bit, but again, I'm fighting against all of this curvature here, so I think I'll give it one or two more oomph here, and I'll start to bend this piece of metal on the vise with a dolly. Not very curved just because of the length of the metal. So what I'll do now is I'll use the dolly, I'll get that in the vise and start to try to create the angle or the bow. I'll run it over to the car real quick just to make sure I'm not messing myself up here. I should be fine. And then hopefully as I start to bow this, I'll enable it to become more easily shrunk. All right, about 5'10" or so. I got the patch piece ready to go, all one piece. It's a little crooked, so I'll pull that out and you can kind of see how it flares. I'm going to shave a little bit of this down here just to get it further away, but I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to get the camera all screwed up here, sorry. If you look here at this piece, if you can see it, I cut essentially a slot here and a slot here and just nailed that piece back to provide some relief so that I could get the thing in there. I'll go back in now and I'll re-weld those creases there so they don't get messed up. Once I get that, I'm going to get this little bit of the inner the arch in here. I'll get that cleaned up and get some of the rust off of that. Excuse me. And then get the whole thing primed up since I don't ever want to see this again. And then get to stepping with getting the donor patch prepped as far as primer goes. And then I'm going to tack this piece up. If you can see, it's a little bit off a little bit, so I want to get that straightened up so that I get the bow proper. I'll get that done, and then I will be ready, I think, to start tacking in the piece. So not too bad. Happy. All right, 5:30. Got this area all in here prepped, ready to go. Got those welded down, those 3 spot welds there. They actually don't look half bad. Got the cuts that I, grooves or whatever you want to call them, that I cut into the arch, filled a little bit and sanded down, or ground down I should say. Not absolutely beautiful, but again, I don't really care. So now I'm going to nail the whole area in here with weld through and let it all dry. I got the patch piece all drying right now. Got holes punched in it for the plug welds, both along the bottom here and along the inner seam of the wheel arch. And I'll get that stuff all dried, get it all cleaned up, and get it ready to weld in. All right, about 6:30 or so, got that puppy in. Welding was not as pretty this time. I don't know what I did differently, but I still don't see much, if any, warpage, which is at the end of the day what I'm really trying to provide or prevent. So I'm happy there. I had a pretty larger gap than I would have desired over here, so this is a little jacked up, and this metal in here was excuse me, a little thinner than I thought, and this back here, but otherwise not too bad. I don't even know if I need to really do anything. Maybe pinch that a little bit and oops, weld it, but I don't even know. So yeah, so pretty happy with that. And I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I got making pretty good time, and I'm putting out some good stuff, so I'm going to keep going. See how it goes. All right, about 7:15 or so. Quick update. I got the battery box in. Not real happy with the way that it came out, frankly. There's a pretty good gap between the bottom of the bulkhead and the battery box itself, but I'm not too sure what I can do about it now. Probably nothing. I'll try to bang from the bottom. But yeah, if I ever decide to drill out spot welds with that big spot weld driller outer thinger, the big bit, and then try to reuse those pieces, kick me, because that's not a good idea. Did some initial grinding back here on the fender rear wing, and pretty happy with the way that that came out. Not done the grinding yet. A couple spots where it almost ground smooth, and then the front here, the front portion of the wing, pretty happy with that too. Not as good of a welding job, but pretty close. I do have some holes right there, like I thought I would because of that large gap. I'm going to fill them real quick, and I'm going to flip the car around and finish up this same portion here, but on the other side I've got it spot welded in or tacked in, but I don't have it done. And then I'm going to finish up the little bit of welding that I have around the tail light bracket in the other side, now that that's all in. And I think that might actually be it for the evening. We'll see. Got some calculus to look at, so keep going. All right, folks, 8 o'clock. Time for me to go and work on some calculus. Whoopee! Anyway, I got this guy welded in down here. So I don't think I've touched this for quite a while, since, I don't know, it's been a couple months. And I won't say that I'm, anywhere near an experienced bodywork guy, but it's interesting to see the difference between what I considered a adequate repair then and what I would do now. I would probably have redone this again if given the chance, but it's good enough. So I got that guy welded in, not ground down. I got the rest of the rear wing here and the little tail light area there all welded in, not ground down. And I already showed you all the other stuff that I did earlier today. So not too bad for several hours of work. Pretty happy. Like I said, I think either tomorrow or Wednesday. It looks like Wednesday I'll be getting the valance, the rear valance. So that'll be the next big project to get in. I gotta again assess this area here to make sure, or to not make sure, that I'm going to replace that. But given the fact of the battery box with the big holes here, I probably will. I'll just steal that from the black car and cut a new one in. And I got to finish, I can't forget to finish welding this guy up. And there's some brass here that I got to get rid of, so I don't run into any problems when I go to weld her back up. So not too bad. Otherwise, it's going to be a little while before I get back over here. Saturday at the earliest, probably. I got my calculus final on Sunday. I think I need like a 28 on the final to pass the course, so I'm pretty stoked about that, but I don't want to look like a dork either. So, yeah, so that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching the videos and commenting. 240 or so subscribers now, so it's creeping up. Pretty cool. Like the videos if you like, please, and pass them around. And I think that's about it. Visit the website, www.roundtailrestoration.com. I'm caught up except for tonight, so if there's any questions or anything like that you have, please feel free to comment. Please feel free to post. Drop me an email via the website if you'd like to, whatever. And I guess that's it. So have a good rest of your week, even though it's only Monday. Hopefully Martin Luther King Day, a lot of you had off. I did not, but hopefully most people did. And see you guys later. Cheers.